Jesus fuck, I hope I'm not getting addicted to this shit. But hello guys, it is the manager again, off of another fucking video. I wanted to talk about my fears of remakes as of late. I know my co-host here and I did some shit about Final Fantasy VII Remake. Don't fucking worry. We're not talking about Final Fantasy again. I don't even want to fucking think about it. But I wanted to talk a little bit about remakes here. In particular, a recent one that got, a lot of headlines, and one I think didn't get enough headlines. And that is mainly The Last of Us Part 1, which is, by all accounts, The Last of Us remake. A remake for a game that's 9 years old that doesn't need it at all. Where when you look at the fucking images, it almost makes the remake version look older and uglier in terms of how the characters look because they're that fucking detailed. It's the ugliness of the Uncanny Valley, in my opinion. Not to mention, I'm glad some YouTuber here noticed it. I kind of forgot the guy's name. You know what? I'm going to do him a favor. I'm glad I went back. Okay, so the YouTuber is named the Chi Guy. 150,000 subscribers, and he did a video on The Last of Us Part 1, and he says it's the most unnecessary remake ever, and I agree with him 10,000%, because of the sole reason he brought up the fact that there was a comparison between The Last of Us Remastered and The Last of Us Part 1, and he mentioned that the shirt looked more detailed in the PS4 version. Besides the fact that, I'll confess, I liked his video right then and right there when he said that, I agree too. The first thing that caught me off guard was that the shirt looked more detailed in the fucking remaster. You actually saw like the fabric tearing. You actually saw the seams to it. You just saw like some of the cuts or the stains on it. You see all of that. I mean, when you just look at the PS5 version, Joel looks older. He looks uglier. He looks a lot more battered. And, his shirt looks plain. It doesn't look that detailed. Like, for a game that they're saying they rebuilt from the ground up, it doesn't really look like they did that much to it. And he also mentions, I almost forgot about this remake as well that I'm worried about as well. It doesn't need a remake, in my opinion. The Resident Evil 4 remake. Seeing how the tone for that game might be changing, and a couple of the rumors I heard about that as well, for the last, not the Last of Us, the Resident Evil 4 remake, I don't want that either. I'd say just stick with Resident Evil 4, the original one, the HD version. Fuck any of those compared to the remake. But those are remakes that I'm kind of scared about. The Last of Us Part 1 remake, whatever the fuck it's called, and the Resident Evil 4 remake. I'm not going to touch that much on the Resident Evil 4 remake because there's still not that much to know about it, especially since that one's a lot farther out. But The Last of Us Part 1, that's coming out in 2 months. It's September. Now, I'm semi-split on it. Because me personally, I would have been a lot happier if they would have just fucking ported the remaster to fucking PC and call it a day. That would have been just fine. Given, fucking arguing a $60, $70 price tag, justifying that'd be a little bit trickier, obviously. But I mean, $60 or $70 for uncapped frame rates, higher resolutions, way better load times, and maybe a couple of quality of life improvements. That would have been nice, but obviously, how are you going to have the quality of life improvements in the PC version, not for the console one? So I guess it makes sense to remake it and release that. But let's just say fuck it. Just uncapped frame rates, higher resolution, better load times to the PC version. Ship the remaster. This whole remake just makes no fucking sense. It's the same game that released 9 years prior, 10 years prior, that was just fine. I just hope they don't change the story that much to try and factor in Part 2, because that's what it makes it sound like. When they call it The Last of Us Part 1, it makes me just think that they're going to change the story. Not to the extent of the Final Fantasy VII remake, but I just have the feeling that they're going to try tying in some of the shit from The Last of Us Part 2, like call forward, so to speak. And that just worries the fuck out of me. I hope it doesn't fucking happen. But beyond that, in the Resident Evil 4 remake, wait, no, let me finish. This is what I was gonna say. Tangents. Fucking lost track of mine. I suck at talking. Blah! I'm split on the remake because I was fortunate enough to kind of get those games for free. In the sense that I tried the original Last of Us on the PS3 via Redbox. Funny how that goes. Deus Ex Human Revolution, Beyond Two Souls, Last of Us. A lot of good games from Redbox. Interesting. But yes, I rented from that. But unfortunately, I didn't get to try it for long because I think I got sick during that time. So I only got up to like the first bit where you're in the abandoned mall complex earlier on in the game and you're with Tess, one of the companions, I think. It was very early in the game. And then I didn't play it until I downloaded a free copy that was bundled in with the PS4 Black Friday bundle that had The Last of Us Remaster and GTA 5, another game that I got for free twice during those generational periods. And then finally, after, all these years, I finally played it from start to finish on the PS4, enjoyed it, loved it, great fucking story. It's a great game. It is. So I basically got those two copies dirt cheap or free, in a sense. So in my head if I can at least wait until it's half off, 35 bucks it seems for 50% off, that's the best I can probably do unless I can get it somewhere cheaper. I can get it on PC, get it for half off, and they're saying they're modernizing the combat. What the fuck are you adding in there? The fucking amazing rope physics from 2? Ooh, that's justifying the $70 price. At least, in my case, I won't be spending that much money on The Last of Us again. So that's the only benefit I can have here besides re-experiencing a game here, so long as, they don't fuck with the story. But that's why I'm going to wait. I'm not going to buy it. Not gonna buy it, especially because I don't have a PS5. So fuck me. But yeah, that's kind of my own inner circle semi-benefit. I can play it on PC. Hopefully they can add in cheat codes. I can at least have the benefit of giving Joel infinite ammo and blasting every motherfucker with a shotgun. And mods, baby. I'm an enthusiastic modder, what can I say? Anywho. Beyond that, yeah, I'm not excited about this remake. It's up there with the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the Part 2 remake, and fucking Resident Evil 4 remake. I'm not happy with them. And besides all that, I do hate the simple fact that they put Ellie like 70% of the fucking cover for the game case, and Joel's just literally a little inkling on her shoulder. That's bullshit. Joel's the original character. Fuck Ellie. But beyond that, the other remake I can finally get to that I wanted to talk about was one that was announced a few months ago that kind of had me taken back a little bit because I thought it would never happen. Going off of the previous video I was talking about, that I was, going off of about my gameplay what if for Max Payne 3, there is a Max Payne remake in the works. And needless to say, when I saw that article, when I was waking up dreary-eyed in the morning, and I was just scrolling through IGN, the number one news source for shitty journalism, I was taken aback. I was literally just playing the iconic line from Max Payne 1. Let me see if I can get it down. They were all dead. The final gunshot was an exclamation mark to everything that had led to this point. I released my finger from the trigger, and then it was over. I'll never be up there with James McRafferty, but whatever. But yeah, there's a fucking remake. I let my fucking best friend know about that. I was like, oh my god, they're fucking remaking it. At first, I was like ecstatic. I was happy. I was like, oh my god, Max Payne is coming back with Maximum Pain. But then, as soon as that happened, the cynicism kicked in. The cynical gamer that is the manager. And oh boy, I was just full stop. And I was scared. Because if it's going to be like one of the remakes that's been coming out in the past couple years, I have a lot to worry about. Because then you got to ask the simple questions. You got to ask, okay, what's the gameplay going to be like? Is it going to be exactly similar to the original Max Payne? Because the whole concept of Max Payne was that, besides the fucking fact it was an early 2000s game, it was a computer game. Yes, a computer game. It was fucking old in terms of what you can do in terms of gameplay and fucking systems. It was aim at an enemy, shoot the fucker, move your character, and dodge the bullets. But it was one of the earliest games that introduced bullet time. A great fucking gameplay mechanic you can introduce in a game if done right. Unlike, Watch Dogs, which I will criticize when it add in the bullet time-esque focus meter, the fact that there was a skill that lets you recharge it by getting shot at and going into critical mode, it was a little bit fucking broken. But that's a different game. Bullet time was amazing in Max Payne. That's how you managed to dodge the enemies. It almost gave you a sense of like a musical. It was like a tango, trying to build up enough of a meter to use it to try and take out multiple enemies and dodge the bullets in glorious fashion. And the notorious shoot dodge that only got better in Max Payne 2. Fuck, I'm getting a chubby thinking about it right now. But that's the question. How is the gameplay going to play? Is it going to be similar to the first game where that's how it was based? There was no time for cover. It was fucking keep moving. In a way, it kind of reminds me of Doom, where you had to keep moving to avoid getting shot at. It was kind of similar to that. You can't just stand still in bullet time. Bullet time didn't just act as a way for you to get more accurate shots. It helped you avoid the fucking bullets. It was nice in that regard. It was a nice change up. But it was a nice way to change up the gameplay with the bullet time mechanic. It added in a breath of fresh air to all the other third-person games. And obviously, because Max Payne did, every other game was trying to copy it as a result. Like Dead to Rights. A decent semi-rip-off to Max Payne that still had a good fucking cheesy story. But yeah, is it going to be similar to OG Max Payne, or are they going to try and incorporate shit from Max Payne 3 or other third-person games? With cover mechanics, health regen, basically making painkillers redundant. Is the gameplay going to be more free-flowing like Control, another Remedy game? What the fuck's going on? And on top of that, a side note, since it is confirmed that Remedy is actually developing Max Payne with a publishing, I guess, partnership with Rockstar, does that technically mean Max Payne is actually going to be a part of the Remedy universe? Because I did learn about that recently. Does that mean Max Payne might actually get sworn into the Remedy universe? Because it would be interesting if, Max is some sort of, object of power or some bullshit. That bullshit from fucking Control where he might have some sort of supernatural gift with his bullet time. Please explain it! I need to know how the fuck he has bullet time. Because, fuck, that would be interesting lore-wise. But how's the gameplay going to go? And obviously, beyond that, another great thing about Max Payne was the noir visual novel cutscenes. Is it going to be similar to the original game, where maybe we'll just redo the original cutscenes and just redo the panels, and it's modern 4K, crisp, HDR fucking stills with new actors? Are they going to use the original fucking stills as unfortunately paid DLC? Or are they going to introduce as a free fucking downloadable content or unlockable? Or are they going to do something similar to Max Payne 3 where it's all fucking 3D motion captured? Because if I'm being honest, I don't fucking want that. That was one of the charms of Max Payne, was the fucking visual novel cutscenes. Keep that shit in. It's like when you start factoring all this shit between, you know, how the cutscenes are going to go, how the gameplay is going to be. Is it going to be an Epic Game Store exclusive since they've apparently had some Epic Game Store backings, you know, with Control and all this shit? You go from being extremely enthusiastic to this remake of Max Payne being in the works to, I have to fucking step on fucking eggshells here. It's fucking, it's scary. And I love Max Payne. Back in the day, when, you know, I was a little bit younger, back in the day, fuck, this was like 13 years ago. No, not 13. A little bit more than that. But I mean, fucking time goes by so quickly. But when I was a little bit younger, I had a PS2, and it was falling the fuck apart. It was barely reading any discs. The only 2 discs that it was able to fucking read at all times was Metal Gear Solid 2 and Max Payne. And best you believe, I played the fuck out of those games. Given, if I went back to them now, I'm be a little bit blurry on what to fucking do. But as soon as I go into a fucking map, I'd be like, oh, I remember how to do this one. Fuck yeah. More so Metal Gear Solid 2 than Max Payne, but whatever, I digress. But that's the moral of this story here. I was very enthusiastic and happy at first, because, hey, a favorite game of mine is coming back. But then you start taking into consideration about the fucking game industry as a whole and how some remakes have turned out. It's made me really cynical and really fucking unoptimistic with it. I want to believe that this remake to Max Payne will be a return to form. Will bring Max back into the fucking limelight. Because, I mean, fuck, even his fucking coat from the visual novel stills is on display in some sort of gaming museum. That's how much of a cultural icon he is. But I just pray to God that Remedy and Rockstar here handle it with care, because if they don't, this could tarnish the fucking reputation. Not saying Max Payne 3 didn't, but I feel like Max Payne 3 was kind of like a bullet wound. Something that you can walk off relatively well, but you still remember that wound. You're like, ah, fuck! Cynical Mac, shut the fuck up! Ow, those cutscenes. Ah! Fucking shaky cam, anyone? Fucking Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days over here. Even though I kind of like the aesthetics of Dog Days, but that's just my personal preference. But yes, I'm worried about all the fucking remakes. Let's just say it that way. Maybe it's because of the nostalgia factor there, where you play something new and it goes against what you remember about the original, it takes away from it, and you kind of get upset about that. I was kind of like that in a way with, you know, the Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes remake. And I do agree with the people, because of the first-person view transition and some of the gameplay nerfs that the Kojima Productions team did to it, or not, I think it was Silicon Knights, never mind, Silicon Knights. You know, like the cameras, like, you know, going up all those flights of stairs in the towers. Normally you'd face like 20 fucking cameras, you only face one. Or the fact you could just pull out your gun, aim and shoot it, and not have to deal with it again. Yeah, it's a little bit fucking, you know, it dumbs it down, it makes it simple. It removes the challenge, it removes the memories, I guess. That's what it's kind of like with some of these remakes now. Like, some of them can do a really good job. Some of them are kind of cool. I guess some I have more tolerance for than others. Let's take Resident Evil 2 Remake, for example. Given, guilty as charged here, I've never played the original, so I don't really know exactly how much of a difference is compared to 2. But I liked Resident Evil 2 Remake. It wasn't that bad. I'll even go on to say Resident Evil 3 Remake wasn't too bad, at least in terms of the rewards you get. Yes, I heard a lot more shit was cut out of that one. I think that fucking sucks. But 3 wasn't too bad, especially you get it for a dirt cheap price. You can't really complain that much about it. But when it's something as close as this, there's very few remakes I'll worry about. You know? Resident Evil 4 Remake, I'm a little bit concerned about, but fuck it. I'm going to wait on that one. If there was, say, An Assassin's Creed remake, I wouldn't care much for because fuck it, Ubisoft. But now we're hitting close to home here. There's one remake that I haven't heard much about, and I still dread it to this day. Metal Gear Solid remake. I'm scared to fuck how they're gonna handle that one. Just port Twin Snakes for fuck's sake. And now Max Payne 1. That one I'm just scared about the most, again, because I don't know what direction they can go with it in terms of gameplay or art direction, cutscenes, characters, voice acting. Are they get James back to voice them? Who fucking knows? It's just there's a lot of variables here that don't make me that optimistic for the future. I hope it does well. I hope it brings it back. But I mean, the only fucking remake that I think is doing pretty well so far that hasn't pissed anyone off lately is Destroy All Humans. And yes, I'll confess, I cannot wait for Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobe to come out. I can buy it dirt cheap, and I can go back to San Francisco and fucking destroy Alcatraz Island to, I just had to look on YouTube real quick. I didn't want to fucking mince my words here. She changes like the weather. That's probably like one of the most iconic scenes from Destroy All Humans 2. Just hopping in your saucer, destroying the KG beast on Alcatraz Island, and just fucking tearing all the buildings down to that song playing. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Fucking memories. Ugh. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it! But, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, about remakes and how they're, I guess they're kind of good for introducing older games to a newer generation. You know, teaching an old dog a few new tricks and slapping on some new paint. But, depending on how you do it, you can just really ruin a very old and classic game and just tarnish its reputation forever. But who knows? I just hope the Max Payne remake does well, and hopefully it gets a lot more traction, and it just fucking works out for everybody. I hope all the remakes do. I hope I'm wrong. Hopefully The Last of Us Part 1 is the best thing of all time, even though we all know it fucking isn't. And I hope the Resident Evil 4 remake just isn't that much of a tonal shift that just ruins what made the original so great. But above all else, I just hope Max Payne still knows how to do some poetic justice to the filth of New York City, and he can still kick ass in bullet time. But that's another rambling audio log from the manager. Once again, like the video, comment on it, subscribe if you want, whatever. Stay safe, gamers. Bye.